guys, this is Amalia with CraftyDreamsStudio. Thank you for joining me today. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, CraftyDreamsStudio, I would greatly appreciate it if you would subscribe and turn on the little bell notification icon so that you are notified every time I upload a new video. You can also find me on Facebook at CraftyDreamsStudio. I would love it if you would follow and like my page there. And if there is anything that you see that you like, you can purchase it at CraftyDreamsStudio.com. All right, guys, without any further ado. Okay, today we're going to be working on a really fun project. We are going to be using our Valentine minis. Aren't these adorable? I absolutely love them. They're called Sprinkles with Love is the name of the transfer. You get 12 different pieces to use. Now, my kids love giving out cards to their teachers and friends for all the different occasions. And so they're going to be working on some Valentine cards. So I'm going to show you what they will be doing for their classmates. Now, I have some cardstock already cut out. Now, our transfers are so fabulous that you can use them on just about any surface, including cardstock. There are some little tips and tricks that I'm going to share with you to make it easy and foolproof to make these. Now, the cardstock that I use is 80-pound cardstock. So that's the minimum I typically recommend. You want a thicker cardstock. It works much better with our transfers and our paste. So I have some pink and I have some red that we'll play with today. I've already cut out my bases, and it is 6 inches by 3 inches. And then I scored it at the 3-inch mark so that they're ready to fold. But you don't want to fold them until after you've chalked on them, okay? So let's go ahead and let's start. We'll start with a red card base. And let's start with, let's start with You're a Llama Fun. Now, one of the very most important things to do when working with our transfers and cardstock is to fuzz. You need to fuzz, fuzz, fuzz. Now, I've already started fuzzing a few of these because I didn't want to be on here and have you watch me fuzz for like 3 minutes. And I really mean you need to fuzz, fuzz them, because our transfers are very sticky. And of course, the stickier your transfer is, the more you need to fuzz. So I have this one. And as you can see, it's still sticky, but it does have quite a bit of fuzz. And I always like to do the backer sheet test, is what I call it. So if I try to put it back on its backer sheet, will it stick? And it does stick. So I still want to give it a little bit more fuzzing, because I don't know what it is about cardstock, but I don't know if it's the fibers or what, but even though there's very little stick on our transfers, it will adhere very well to the cardstock. All right, so let's go ahead and try this one. And let's see if I fuzzed it enough. Again, there's my score mark. I'm gonna kind of fold it so you can see it. So I know that I wanna center it on this section of the card. And, ooh, that looks good for me. And I'm gonna press it down, making sure to press everywhere where there is screen. Now, like, see this corner? I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm only making sure that I'm pressing where there is screen, okay? So let's see, why don't we let's use Peony, this beautiful pink. Now let me check the consistency of my Chalkology Paste. And as you can see how it's a little thicker, so I'm gonna go ahead and use some of my distilled water that I have in my handy Chalk Couture water bottle. I'm doing it off to the side because, of course, you don't want to get your cardstock wet. So I'm going to put a little bit in there, and then I'm going to stir. And so your pastes will, eventually dry out a little. So every time you go to it, you just have to add a little bit of water. And then it brings it right back. That's why they're such a great value, because they will last you a long time. So we just want to bring back the consistency. Now, since it's cardstock, I don't want it too runny because remember, water is the natural enemy of cardstock. It will bend on you, it will buckle on you. So obviously the paste has a water component. So you don't want it too thin. And let's see, let's take a look at that. Oh, that looks good to me. See, that's like the consistency of cake batter or yogurt. That's the kind of consistency you want. That's another tip for you. Make sure that your paste is not too thin because that won't work well with your cardstock. So I'm just going to take a little bit and smooth it on the transfer. And remember, a little bit goes a long way. You don't want to make it too thick. So like this. There we go. And now I'm just remove the excess. Like this. There you go. And now you're just going to remove it from your cardstock. Do you see how easily that came off? Because we took the time to fuzz. And you let this dry, and then you can fold it up and write whatever you want on the inside and give it out to your Valentine. So like I said, I'm going to be making these with my kids. They're going to absolutely love it. They love doing fun stuff like this to give out to their classmates. Let's go ahead and do another one. These are so fun. Okay, so and they're so unique. So again, I have where I scored, and I'm going to use this side. And I haven't used this transfer before. This one says Be Mine Valentine. So again, just going over, the key is to fuzz your transfer. The paste color that I'm using is Peony. It's a beautiful, beautiful pink. And remember, you want very little stick to almost no stick. Trust me, even if you think, oh, there's no stick left on my transfer because I fussed it too much, it will definitely adhere to cardstock. So again, I'm going to do my test. I put it back on its transfer and I see how well it sticks. And see, it's not sticking very well. That's exactly the way you want it for cardstock. You do not want it to have hardly any stick because once you put it on the cardstock, trust me, it will still adhere very nicely. So I'm going to put this down. So, and again, I'm going to press and only focus on the area where there's transfer because that'll make it easier to live for my cardstock. Like this. And I mean, your kids, this is a fun activity for people of all ages to give a little personalized card. And I'm using our Valentine transfers, which are the Sprinkled with Love. And again, you don't want your paste to be too thin. This is definitely when you want your paste to be a little thicker because you don't want to get your cardstock overly wet. Okay, scraping it off. Y'all see how easy and fast that is? And then you just take your transfer and it peels right up. And get a look at that gorgeous image. I absolutely love making these little cards. I know my kids are gonna love making them for their friends and teachers. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day or night, wherever you are.